Okay, that's it. Okay.
I want to put.
March it! March it! March it! Let's get around!
Let's get it wrong.
Occupy all!
Occupy!
Come over here!
Come over here!
We have a public meeting!
Public meeting!
Not a general assembly! But a public meeting!
A public meeting!
March it!
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 You ready?
Ready?
Come on, let's do a chant here, come on.
Yes.
Have we been doing chants all week or not?
Yes.
What's our favorite chant? We are the 99%!
We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%! We are the 99%!
We got a few shout-outs. Just a few minutes ago, the whole town Restaurant Employees Union, AGRE, just informed us that they're going to have several new members join our camp starting Saturday. Because we are Can I have the approval of this body that we have two guests address the body? Yes or no? Yes! Hard blocks? I see no hard blocks. Our brother, Tavis, Smiley.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me start by thanking you, first of all, for your courage, for your... Sorry. I can talk loud, I also have a bullhorn. Can you all hear me? You can speak, though, repeat what he's saying. Yeah, I went to the bullhorn, yeah. 1 second, I apologize. You won't be long.
This is what love looks like in public.
Why are you waiting?
That's right.
The war on poverty, we're a real war that people put money into it, Dr. Webb.
If you do not love the people, you cannot lead the people. Save the people unless you are willing to serve the people.
Can you hear me now? I want to yield to the gentleman from Princeton to my right here, who has been at Occupy New York. He was in Occupy Wall Street. He was in New York for 2 days. Was in Boston earlier this week. Came in town last night and insisted that he wanted to come see you today. So he's all about. And I want to get to Dr. West in just a second, but I wanted to say a quick word of thanks to you for your courage, for your conviction, and for your commitment to this cause. For your courage, for your conviction, and for your commitment to this cause. Dr. West and I have been on a poverty tour starting earlier this summer. We got on a bus and went to 11 states, 18 cities to try to put a face on poverty in this country. And so your mission and your method is consistent with our mission and our method of trying to raise higher on the American agenda the plight of the poor in this country. Something is wrong on the so-called greatest nation on the earth, when almost 50 million people are now living in poverty. Increasingly more women and more children. I don't need to convince you of that. You already know that. In this regard, I'm preaching to the choir. You already know the stats, and that's why you're out here. But I think in America, and my role in the media, on television and radio every day, is to try to humanize these numbers, to try to put a face on what this struggle, this fight is all about. And so we got on the bus this summer, these 11 states and 18 cities, to try to highlight the plight of the poor, as I said earlier, to raise higher on the American agenda their issues. There's nothing worse, nothing more dangerous you can do to a human being than to make him or her feel invisible. And in this country, 20 poor people are being rendered invisible. They're treated as disposable. They don't matter. They don't count. And our leaders in Washington are not serious enough about coming up with a plan to eradicate poverty in this country. And so we got on this bus to try to spend some time with poor people of all races, of all colors, of all creeds, of all persuasions, to get a sense of what the new poor in this country look like. And you know what we found out? On top of the perennially poor in this country, we discovered that the new poor in America are the former middle class. The new poor are the former middle class. And so we are in Los Angeles now to wrap up this poverty tour, which leads us to two things I want to yield to Dr. West. Number one, on Sunday, I know you're here and I want you to stay here doing the work that you're doing. But while you're here, we're going to be convening a mass crowd, about 1,800 people on Sunday at 5 o'clock at the Worship Boulevard Temple, 3663 Wilshire. So we'll be at the Worship Boulevard Temple on Sunday with a town hall meeting, the last town hall meeting of this tour that we've been on, talking about poverty in America. So you're going to be out here doing your courageous work. We'll be at the temple on Sunday at 5 talking about poverty in America. And then on Monday night, which I'm really excited about, kind of unprecedented in television these days, but on Monday night, starting Monday, October 10th, all the way through next Friday, October 14th, for 5 nights on my PBS show, my regular late-night PBS show, starting Monday night for the entire week, conversations every night about poverty. These conversations will feature the footage that Dr. West and I recorded on our poverty tour this summer, and every night we'll be talking to poverty experts, starting on Monday night, as we should, with my abiding friend, Dr. Cornell West, who I want to introduce now. Dr. West, to my mind, is the nation's leading public intellectual. And I say that because there are a lot of smart folks in the academy. There are a lot of smart folks in the academy, but many of them don't have a usable intellect. Dr. West, to my mind, so far, I haven't seen anybody else, the only academician to put himself out in the way he has in New York and in Boston and now here, in solidarity with you. And that's why I say that his intellect is usable and embraceable by everyday people across the country. So for those of us who live and work in this great city, or just live in this great city and try to find work in Los Angeles, we are honored today to be joined by the person who I regard as the W.E. Du Bois of our time. He's our Du Bois. He is the nation's leading public intellectual. He has a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. And we are honored today in our town of Los Angeles to have with us President Professor Dr. Cornell West. Make you feel welcome. Before Doc speaks, one last thing. Dr. West and I are going to be back here tonight with you. We're doing 2 national television interviews tonight, and we chose, as the site of these interviews, not their television studios, but we wanted to be out here with you tonight. We're coming back this evening at about 5 o'clock, and we'll see you all then. Dr. West will be appearing tonight on Anderson Cooper on CNN. He's on Anderson Cooper live from this very spot, and I will be on Keith Olbermann tonight on current television live from this spot. So we'll see you in a few hours, but until then, right now, let's begin Dr. West.
That means you tweet
You tweet
to your friends that we're going to have 2 special guests at the General Assembly.
my dear brother Tavis. Give him another hand. Give him alternative voices over against the mainstream media. Tavis, Smiley, Amy Goodman, and so many others. Give the alternative media brothers and sisters of all colors a hand. I want to thank my dear brother Mario, my dear brother Clark, and I want to thank each and every one of you, because each time I come to these gatherings, I am so humble and I'm so fired up because we're part of a democratic awakening. It was 3 weeks ago the mainstream press said this is just a fad, and now we got 101 cities in the world. We got 75 cities in America, and it's growing every day precisely because people are morally outraged at the wealth inequality. It's just not right that 42% of our precious children of all colors are living in or near poverty in the richest nation of the history of the world. That's a moral disgrace. It's an ethical abomination. And 1% of the population had 42% of the wealth. 1% of the population had 83% of the income growth in the last 10 years. And the top 10% had 100% of the income growth. What does that mean? It means that poor people, working people, the 99% found themselves wrestling with wages that are flattened out, stagnating with the cost going up. Something is wrong in America, and let us be very clear. Let us be very clear that this is not anti-America, this is anti-injustice in America. And the people of America has always been those who came along each generation, straighten your backs up and said, we're going to take a stand for something bigger than this, bigger than ourselves. But we sitting in a culture where you got this addiction and self-medication and narcissism and hedonism, nothing but cultural weapons of mass distraction that don't want people to think about what's going on and come together. And what's so beautiful about it, we are all colors, we are all cultures, we are all religions. Thank God for our atheistic and agnostic brothers and sisters. We are all classes, we are all civilizations, we are all genders, we are all sexual orientations. Why? Because justice is something bigger than each and every one of us. And don't let anybody tell you that this is about hating anybody. No, not at all. This is what the OJs call a love train. This is what justice is what love looks like in public, just like democracy is what justice looks like in practice. And we here because we're a Democrat, small d. Small d. And if you're a Democrat, small d, that means you fundamentally believe in the depths of your heart that a brother and sister of any color who's poor has the exact same value as a brother and sister who's well-to-do, and they deserve to have a special when it comes to a and witness to do that, and we're doing it together. I say here under the sunshine of Los Angeles, because it may be raining in New York. It's a little chilly up in Chicago. Atlanta has about 55, but we're all coming together. Then we still on local national boundaries. We got brothers and sisters in Australia occupying, brothers and sisters in Britain, in Ireland, in Asia, in Latin America, in Africa. Oh yes, this is the U.S. autumn responding to the April spring, and we're going to have to tell a story about how we came together. Why? Because we are going to attempt to change this country. Change it for the better. And as our dear brother Howard Zinn used to say, oh, we miss brother Howard Zinn. Brother Howard Zinn used to say, dissent is the highest form of patriotism. So stay strong, and we will be back at 5 o'clock, because I told them I'm not going into the studio. Don't stop. You said that you got to move your tents to the side. sidewalk every night.
Yeah. Every night.
And we have the water spread when we're on the grind. Victory come on when we're on the grind.
Lord have mercy.
And we move our tents and we help each other with the
Press up
water.
on our dear mayor. He's a citizen of America and citizen of Los Angeles. And we represent the best of what the nation is all about. Lord, we're going to see when I come back at 5 o'clock, we'll see again. But you know something out here, my spirit is with you. Because the legacy of Martin is here, the legacy of Abraham Heffer is here, the legacy of Doris Day is here, the legacy of Peter Tavis is here, the legacy of all those who came before is here, and we refuse to move forward unless we look back and remember those who did exactly the same thing. Look at Sister got Mandela right on the shirt. South Africa had to teach the world some democratic lessons. Tunisia, Egypt, Northern Africa had to teach the world some democratic lessons. They're going to have to teach the world some democratic lessons. Even though we got those immoral drones that are being we're still in Afghanistan 10 years. Corporate interest still shaping so much of the world in its own image. We look up and see Goliath, but we got David. And we got a slingshot. And what that slingshot is all of the courage and vision of everyday people who are willing to come together and make a difference. Stay strong in what you're doing. See you in just a few hours.